Imagine working 60 hours a week in your own business and still feeling that you're just not making it, you're broke at the end of the month. You know, too many entrepreneurs pay everyone else first, the team, the bills, the software, and leave themselves with scraps. That's not freedom, that's a trap. Today, I'm going to show you why paying yourself first isn't selfish. It's the single most important step to building a secure business and a secure life. You know, when I first started my business, I was living on very little. I'd pay expenses, software, subscriptions, vendors, and then hope there was something left over for me. And you see, most months there wasn't. And you know, as everyone does, it started as a side hustle. So I did have income coming in from my current job, right, in my career, but I was building something up, but wasn't really paying myself from that, okay? So this is the scenario that I'm talking about here. Okay, I'm not talking about necessarily those that are seasoned and mature and at the end of that life cycle. Okay, we're talking about folks that are in the beginning of this entrepreneurship journey and that life cycle when they're still just trying to figure it out, right? Figuring out that split, that transition, right? So, okay, so when I finally shifted and made paying myself the priority, even though I was still in this transition phase of corporate to entrepreneur, right? Just a small consistent percentage changed everything, because I think it's more of a mindset shift that this allows for. So I felt more secure, I felt more confident, and my business became more sustainable because I wasn't running on empty, right? I had that psychological feeling like, okay, this is working, there's a payback. There's a payoff to this. So I want to share some business coaching tips with you, and hopefully you can walk away from this video with one thing that can be valuable to your business if you're in this transition phase, if you're in the beginning of this journey from corporate to entrepreneur, or from a different career to starting your business and entrepreneurship, and you're straddling the line there. This video is for you. You're going to want to hear this one. So I have a few business coaching tips, and the first one is treat yourself like your number one employee. So if you don't value your work, no one else will. How do you do that? Well, paying yourself. You see, paying yourself is a signal that you are the most important employee in your company. The CEO. That's not selfish, it's smart. See, a business that doesn't pay its owner consistently is not a healthy business. So what you want to do is start by deciding on a percentage of income that will always go to you. So it doesn't have to be huge. It could be maybe 5%, 10%. And this is a great place to start. It's just a little, but just enough so that you can stay in the game, right? And see that there's some payoff. What you want to do is set up a separate personal checking account and transfer that percentage every month, just like a salary. But over time, as revenue grows, you can increase the percentage. The key is to start small and build the habit, build from the habit. For example, one client of mine was bringing in about $6,000 per month, but never paid herself, right? Everything went back into the business, right? But what we did was we set up a simple system where she transferred 10%, just 10%, nothing major, $600, right, into her personal account each month. Okay. Within 3 months, she had not only had extra money for herself, but she said that the psychological impact of just doing that made her feel like a real CEO for the first time. See, that shift in identity fueled her confidence and business growth. And that's really what it is. It's a shift in identity here. So that's what we want to work with. See, these little tips and tricks really go a long way. You know, when I first started my e-commerce business, I made that mistake. I did not pay myself for the first, of course, like I said, again, straddling from, from corporate to entrepreneur. So it's not that I didn't have income, I had income, right? But this was my side hustle. And even though my side hustle was bringing in money, I would put it back into the business in ads, in marketing, in product, right? And so I didn't make the decision because I was still new at this. I was still learning, right? And if I were to go back, I'd do it differently, because I think there's a lot of power in that psychological activity of paying yourself and taking the time to do so and really thinking about that. Business coaching tip number 2 is you want to start small and then you build consistently from there. So the habit matters more than the amount. I'm going to repeat this because many of you might be seeing this like, well, that's not a lot, right? I'd rather reinvest it. Well, the habit matters more than the amount. So when I'm sharing this with you, think more in terms of the habit and what this habit is going to do for you versus the amount. Again, we're working with people that are just starting off here, right? So let's say paying yourself $100. Paying yourself $100 every month is better than waiting until you feel ready to pay yourself thousands of dollars. Consistency builds discipline and momentum. So if your business is just starting out, don't pressure yourself to take a big salary. Begin with something symbolic but consistent. Right? And I think that's really what it is that I'm trying to convey here. It's this symbolic stance that you're taking, right? When you do pay yourself, even from a little. So maybe it's just 5% of revenue, or even maybe a flat rate. Maybe you're going to give yourself $50 or $100 per month. My point is create the rhythm of paying yourself so that it becomes non-negotiable. And then over time, you'll increase the percentage as you see this coming in, right? But you already have the muscle built that it's okay to do that. It's okay, right? I work with a client who resisted paying himself because his revenue was so up and down. So we started with, again, a simple flat $100 a month transfer to his personal account. Think of it think of the symbolism and the psychology behind this, not so much the amount. It wasn't a lot, but he kept the habit. And a year later, his revenue grew, and he was now paying himself $1,500 a month consistently. And he told me that a small start made him feel in control from day one. That's what you want to do. Right? That's what you want to do. Because it can really get discouraging if you continue to throw in your money. In my case, I put in my savings, right? As my savings from the company that I work with. Of course, I had savings throughout the years, and I knew that I wanted to start this small business, and I did. So it was just pouring in, or really taking out, but it wasn't bringing anything in. And that symbolic psychological impact of just paying myself just a percentage of whatever came in would have really made a difference for me. Okay, and it does for many. So I want you to really consider this if you're in this part of your journey. So business coaching tip number 3 is automate your pay. So consistency comes from automation. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left over, you'll never pay yourself first. You need to treat your paycheck like any other bill, a non-negotiable. Set a recurring transfer from your business account to your personal account on the same date every month. And it can be tied to your revenue cycle or simply a set date like the 1st or the 15th. And when it's automatic, you don't have to think about it. It just happens, right? So like when you were in a corporate job and you got paid on a schedule, right? Once a week or every 2 weeks. So the same thing too, you want to keep a cadence like that. You know, one of my clients set up an automatic transfer of about 8% of his monthly revenue to his personal account. The first few months, he barely noticed it, but by the end of the year, he paid himself over $7,000. Money that would have otherwise disappeared into random business expenses. We know that. As business owners and entrepreneurs, we know that those $7,000 would have been consumed with something else that we need in the business, right? So now let's put these concepts into action steps, because I want you to walk away with something practical that you can apply from here and just really leverage active listening. So decide today on a percentage, even if it's just 5%, and commit to paying yourself first. So set up a recurring transfer to your personal account so it happens automatically. So you'll be amazed at how quickly this builds your confidence and consistency as a business owner. Again, I can't stress the importance of the magical, right, symbolic and psychological impact of this to build your confidence and your consistency. And you're going to feel like a business owner. You're going to feel like that founder and CEO. So to recap, paying yourself first is a non-negotiable. Treat yourself like the #1 employee that you are. Start small and consistent and automate your paycheck. And that's how you build security and confidence as a business owner. You know, inside my Financial Freedom Accelerator Academy, I'm going to show you how to set up a complete system that ensures that you always get paid as the founder and CEO of the business. The link is in the description box. Check it out if you'd like to continue to work with me. And I would love to have the privilege of supporting you and helping you throughout your journey. I've got that program as well as coaching packages available for you. Thanks for watching, and if you got value from this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who will benefit from this business coaching. Even if it's just clicking the like, it means so much to me, and it's so valuable because it's going to help others to be able to see this as well. So if you've ever felt like money is slipping through the cracks in your business, you won't want to miss this next video. How to audit your spending like a CEO. Click here to watch. And I'll see you on the next one. Oceans of love. Till next time, my friend.